now I present you Mike Leach, coughing fit.
Event that, and then all of a sudden, well, they're kicking it off. And then,
oh, goodness. Sounds like me.
I'm working on this trademark call.
That's exactly what I thought.
It's getting better, too. Well, then, we marched it down. I thought we could have been closer.
Hello, I'm Robert Stack, and you are listening to the Ask Casters podcast.
Ask Casters, happy birthday! You have turned 21 episodes old. We will give our episode all the presents for turning 21 episodes old. I've also got a disaster that is currently the Indianapolis Colts and Jeff Saturday's hiring, but we wanted to actually start with some hockey. Before we started recording, we were talking about a nasty injury to Evander Kane that took place last night, and we just wanted to actually start there before we were just like being repetitive to ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's just hop right in. Schawe, you saw this injury, by the way. How are you? Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Good. Underneath the Rockies in my girlfriend's basement. So doing fine. Nice and cool down here. But
68
yeah, how are
sunny.
you gentlemen doing?
Good. I'm drinking. I've got my third beer of the evening going on, and that I'm just feeling great. They're going down really well on a Wednesday.
Yeah, halfway through the week. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, TJ? How are you doing?
I'm doing fucking great, because sometimes I get onto our YouTube page and I see what's fucking suggested. And I have Sports Illustrated Year Sports 1995 with Steve Young, and then to the side it has inappropriate Veggie Tale credit rolls.
That's amazing.
So
I want to watch. You might want to save that for our watch later playlist so we can all watch.
Schawe,
that
this is
together.
your thing. Like, that's your YouTube. I don't get on
mine,
it.
But
I mean, it's ours, but you're the commander of it.
That's not a good thing. It's like being the supervisor of the janitors.
If there's another one, if NFL refs played fantasy football.
Oh, so like some of the shit we see on Sunday Night Football when 9 out of the 10 flags were on the home team.
I feel like we need to have it like our own segment right now.
Yeah.
Weird shit
But
that
anyway.
Schawe looks up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh man, we could have a whole podcast on weird shit collectively we look up on the internet. But before we go down that rabbit hole, Schawe, Evander Kane basically slit his wrist yesterday. Walk us through it.
Well, it was go fig. I don't know. It was a very interesting play where it almost looked like a nothing play. Some players collided along the boards and while Kane was falling, and Pat Maroon happened to skate by and accidentally clipped his wrist with this bottom of the skate blade, and obviously cut his wrist open. And pretty quickly there was a pretty decent pool of blood, and you could see Evander Kane immediately rush over to the bench to get assistance. And there was a really deep, dark amount of blood that was in that little pool that was on the ice. It was pretty disturbing. But luckily he's okay. He's only going to be, I say only, but he's going to be out for 3 to 4 months apparently, which is crazy. He must have severed some tendons if that's how long he's going to be out for.
Oh.
It's not just superficial. It's going to be a little bit more than, just a cut on the wrist.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's, I just have one of those. There's two different types of people. There's people that never want to watch those replays, and then there's people like me that watch them 100 times. And I watched that one. Hey, I didn't want to pay any attention to the election coverage last night, so I saw that Evander Kane thing was trending, and I watched that video, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, he was terrified, like he jumped off of that ice so quick. He was like, and he was holding his wrist, and he knew, like, I think he was scared of bleeding out.
Right. It was crazy. Like, obviously he covered it real quick, so you couldn't see how much more blood was probably on his glove or on his hand that was coming out. But I'm pretty sure with the amount of blood that came out initially, it was a good amount. And, obviously it's a good thing he got off the ice quickly enough to get that taken care of before it got too much worse. And obviously it wouldn't be as bad as the Clint Malarchuk video, which if you're a hockey fan, you know a lot about that, and we don't really need to go over that. It was a really disgusting and scary incident that luckily he survived. So very strange. You don't see that very often in hockey, and it's kind of crazy you don't see it more often with the amount of collisions and how sharp the players keep their skates.
Yeah, and I think that's before we actually started recording the podcast. We were just kind of like generically talking about that, and then that was kind of my question. Is that I guess I am stunned that stuff like this doesn't happen more often, because basically you've got, what is it, a total of 12 players on the ice plus some referees, and all of them basically have knives at the bottom of their shoes. And I guess I'm surprised that this doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, it's an Edward Scissorhands wet dream, if you ask me.
Yes,
but
nice relevant reference.
But it is crazy to think about, especially like TJ, like at the lower levels, like what we play at, that it doesn't happen more often with dummies that play in that shit. So but it's just crazy that more incidents like that don't occur.
Schawe,
luckily,
the players we play with can't get their skates off the ground. They're just kind of scuttling.
So much friction.
They're magnetic skates.
But I mean, one time I did get my toes did get stepped on by a skate. Gouda accidentally stepped on my toes when I was trying to change into my skates, and cut 3 of my 5 toes on my right foot open. Oh, that was a fun day.
Your fuckles got hit.
Way to go, Goods.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Gouda. But no, it was I needed the shave anyway, so I got hairy knuckles, on my toes. But no, it was a strange incident, but luckily he's going to be fine. Just going to be out for a little bit for the Edmonton Oilers.
So were you saying that at the professional level, and maybe, I don't know, you guys tell me, at the collegiate level, so are the uniforms a little bit different to the point where this is, I guess, more preventable? The socks are made out of different materials. The gloves maybe are made out of different material. Is that what you guys were shedding some light on?
Well, like a lot of the socks the players use that wear socks, there are players that don't use them, and TJ can allude with that or get into that. But the players that do wear socks usually wear Kevlar socks to prevent any cuts all along their ankle area, especially along the Achilles on the backside of their skate. But a lot of players don't wear their jerseys all the way down to their gloves. They wear them kind of up to their elbows.
Or tucked in.
Yeah, kind of tucked in their elbows to have a little more freedom within their wrists and the forearms.
And the like back in the day when you had your big old fucking Coopers, you had a 6-inch fucking slab of leather that went all the way up to your high wrist. Now, right. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same point you're getting to. People want more movement in their wrist. So they've cut the gloves down further, and I mean, I know my gloves are really small, and they're old as shit.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like sacrificing movement for safety. It's kind of like you give some to take away. So yeah, what you're getting to, there's not as much protection as there used to be back in the day, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, and there are a couple goalies, and I forget, we've talked about it before on the podcast. But there are a couple goalies in the league who don't wear socks. So, Asscasters, if you're not a big hockey fan or a goalie fan, if a goalie turns around, you're looking at him assways.
So that sounds sexy.
And you're looking at the back of his pads. You can see usually the hockey socks being wrapped up by the pads. Some goalies don't wear anything, so they have bare calves and bare ankles exposed, which is just like the fucking wildest shit in the world.
Just like TJ, all calves.
I mean, shit. I mean, that's where the girls come, man.
I'll never forget when someone gave you a compliment on your calves.
It happens a lot. I don't want to brag, but Oh, so just a little cab story. So there was a really hot substitute teacher who used to work like down the hall, and like she was kind of short. So I was like, "Hey, do you need me to get anything off the shelves for you?"
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I showed her my calves so much, and then like even when I bent over, I was like, "Oh, you gotta stretch these and fucking flex these bitches."
Yeah. Get the roller out, baby. Let me see them things. God.
She never
But-
said a word to me, so
Shocker. Oh man. But yeah, no, it was just a strange incident, and like we were saying, with like some of the players just kind of hike their jerseys up, and there's not as much protection on their forearms as you would probably think or imagine there should be. But just a freak incident, and good thing it doesn't happen too often. We can move off of that topic.
We will. And one of our favorite ways to transition from one topic to another is our good friend, Coach Mike Leach. And Mike Leach has had a couple of winning weeks here. He inspired a sideline reporter to basically not get married. That was awesome.
that was last season though, wasn't it? Or was that this year?
No,
Okay.
that was this year. Then close to Halloween here, the last week or two, he was asked about his favorite candies, where he went into a nice little diatribe about Nerds Clusters and candy innovation and going to the dollar store for sprees. Amazing.
Candy innovation.
Now I now present you Mike Leach, Coughing Fit.
Event that, and then all of a sudden, well, they're kicking it off. And then,
Oh goodness, sounds like me.
I'm working on this trademark cough.
That's exactly what I thought.
It's getting better, too. Well, then, we marched it down. I thought we could have been close.
And Asscasters, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, 3 Chai. They have been with us since the beginning, and it sounds like Mike Leach has been listening to our podcast. So 3 Chai, thank you so much.
I don't know if you heard that during Mike Leach's rant there, but he briefly said that's my trademark cough.
Oh my god.
So,
God, TJ, that's gonna be you in 5 years.
Nah, I need to start eating gummies more, man.
Yes, smoking your lungs is never a good thing.
Hey,
Eat
yeah.
all the gummies you can.
No, but hey, have you noticed on the bench I'm not coughing as much?
Because we haven't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah, recency bias.
Yeah. Thank you, 3 Chai, for the sponsorship. So, does that transition us into college football there, Andy?
it does. So did you have a chance, Schawe, to watch Tennessee lose to Georgia?
Yes, I did watch a little bit of that, and it was, Georgia is, as some of the kids say nowadays, they got that dog in them. They played fucking fantastic against a really good Tennessee team.
Yeah, they're going to win the national title.
You think they're going to repeat?
Yeah, I don't see who fucking touches them. I don't know who touches them.
I was stunned that Tennessee wasn't more competitive in that game. I was not the only person that threw down money on Tennessee, but I guess your first indication that Georgia is really good should have been the fact that Georgia was an 8-point favorite in that game against the number 1 team in the nation. That should have been hint number 1. Hint number 2 is what actually took place during that game, and that game wasn't even competitive. Like, I think the final score was like a 13 or 14 point spread at the end of the day with the Georgia victory.
27-13 at the end there.
That game was not even close. Georgia had that thing from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee didn't score a touchdown to the 4th quarter, so I'm guessing they probably let up by then. But yeah, Tennessee just couldn't get anything going on offense. That Georgia defense was just fantastic against the Volunteers, and Volunteers have a really good offense that we've seen for most of the season. But Georgia showed up that night and just kicked the shit out of him and really didn't give him much room to do anything.
They looked
so.
anemic. That offense looked anemic.
They kind of did, yeah.
They couldn't run the ball, and then Hooker was just kind of scrambling for his life a little bit. And
yeah, he was 23 for 33 with 195 yards, 1 interception. I mean, he just didn't look great out there. I mean, he didn't look comfortable either. And that's what you want to do as a defense. You don't want to make the opposing quarterback comfortable in that pocket. So they did a great job.
That's why you turn up the temperature in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, that's the good old days.
Hashtag Patriots.
I think the one thing that probably surprised me the most, more than the final score, it generally, if you've got a team, this happens in the Big 12 all the time. So generally, when you got a team that plays offensively as fast as Tennessee does, that plays at such a pace where they get 70, 80 plays during a game, usually, even if they're not scoring points, they're still running their pace. They're still running quick. Tennessee was taken completely out of their pace. They got to the point where they got so discombobulated, they said, okay, well, we need to slow the fuck down rather than speeding up. And it was that way for a while. Even when they got that garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter, Schawe, it wasn't, they weren't the same offense that they've been all season.
No, they were definitely not the same. They look like the Vols from the last, 5 years that we've recognized them as. But, I mean, you obviously give Georgia credit. They're the best, I think, the best team in the nation right now. And they took on, at the time, the best team. And kind of, it pushed them around. They show that Georgia's number one, should probably be number one. And Tennessee, don't get me wrong. I think they're probably still top 4, but Georgia's the best team right now in the nation. And do you think this hurts Hooker's chances at the Heisman, or does it help Stetson? What do you guys think about that?
So I think Tennessee still has a shot. If they win out, they still have a shot to get into the playoff and I guess potentially even a national championship. If they get back into the playoff and maybe win the first semifinal game of the playoff, I'd say that he's still got a really, really good shot. But if not, I'd say it's all C.J. Stroud.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
I think kind of a wild card in the Heisman, which I guess I'm not totally bought into this, but this may give you an indication of how far Oregon's come. Bo Nix, the quarterback for Oregon, is getting more and more discussion as a Heisman candidate, and he might actually end up in New York for the Heisman presentation. Oregon got absolutely curb stomped the very first week of the season. Georgia, right. But we keep going back to how good Georgia is. They lost by 40 points to Georgia.
49, wasn't it?
40 plus, yeah. So
it was not good.
Oregon's come a long way since then. They're undefeated since that game. And I think some people are suggesting that Oregon's got a shot to sneak into the college football playoff. And the reason that is, here's a nice little segue. The college football playoff announced their final 4 teams, the first announcement of their final 4 teams, which consist of Georgia, Ohio State, TCU, and Michigan. And TCU, I think, is the one that's got the most attention as somebody that may not be able to hold that spot in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team, but they do give up a lot of points at the same time. I mean, I'm trying to think who they played last week. Give me a second. I'm looking their games up. But I think it was West Virginia.
Texas Tech
last week. Oh, it was Texas Tech. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Texas Tech. But, yeah, I mean, they do give up a lot of points, 31 to Kansas, 34 to SMU. I mean, they gave up 31 to West Virginia, 24 to Texas Tech. I mean, Big 12 is known for scoring a lot of points and not having really good defenses. So I
don't think you're going to have Alabama in the SEC championship game. Tennessee is going to make the SEC championship game. I think if TCU wins out and you have a 1-loss Tennessee team, it's Tennessee in that 4th spot.
Oh, I would almost say for sure. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't see them at this point unless they lose another game. There's no way they're out of that top 4.
Well, and then let's look
But-
at this a little bit further. Michigan has to play Ohio State.
Yeah.
They won last year, but traditionally that's been a blowout.
Yeah, that's been a tough game for the Michigan Wolverines the last decade. So, I mean, we'll see if they buck the trend and start winning, more often. But
Man, I've been
like you say, history shows.
I've been snake bitten by putting faith in Michigan before.
Don't do it.
I think this Michigan team is good. I think Ohio State is just fluky enough to have an off game against Michigan. Michigan, they can run the fucking football, like no trouble. I don't have any. I really don't have any doubt. And I say this, and this could be proven completely wrong when they play Ohio State. I don't think Michigan's going to have much trouble moving the ball against Ohio State. Now, granted, they may not beat them, but I don't think they're going to get shut down like they have been in the past.
Can we look at who Michigan has played?
That's fair.
Colorado State, week 1, 51-7. Hawaii, 56-10. UConn, 59-0. Those are all borderline FBS schools, okay? That's not a joke. That's fucking real. Fucking UConn was fucking or FCS fucking how long ago?
Message.
This is fucking ridiculous. Furthermore, the Terrapins of Maryland, they 34-7. They won by a touchdown. They beat Maryland by a touchdown. Fucking fantastic. Iowa can't score 27-14. Big
I'm
fucking
surprised
win.
Iowa scored 14.
It's a big day. It's a big month.
Yeah, big day.
At Indiana, 31-10. Big whoop. At a Penn State team that doesn't look to be as good as they once were at the number 10 ranking when Michigan played them, 41-17, and then they played Michigan State. Michigan State sucks, 29-7. Rutgers is a...
Not in tunnel brawls, though. They lost the tunnel brawl.
And yes, as as C. Dangle pointed out on our last podcast, fucking cowards and pussies.
You fucking cowards.
No, I'm not buying it.
Not yet, at least.
So
I'm kind of with you on that. Michigan always has teases like they're going to be a really great team, but there's always something that's going to happen that this is the Wolverines we've known for the last decade. So it's going to be an interesting game when they play Ohio State coming up on November 26th.
I guess we'll just archive my statement now, and then when they play Ohio State and they lose by 30 points, you guys can bring back the archive video of me saying that I think this team's a little bit different, and I'll eat that.
That's fine.
So, hey, TCU's resume. Let's compare this up against what we just said for Michigan, and let's see what we think. Of week 1 victory against Colorado. 38-13. Sorry, Colorado.
I'm sure you made money off that.
I did. Thank you, Colorado. A 59-17 victory against Tarleton, which I think just opened their school like 2 months ago. SMU 42-34 victory. They mud stomped Oklahoma 55-24. They beat a Kansas team 38-31. That's a good victory. They probably started the downhill spiral for Oklahoma State when they beat Oklahoma State 43-40. I believe that was Oklahoma State's first loss of the season, and they've been a complete mess since then. Then they beat Kansas State, beat West Virginia, and then last week they beat Texas Tech by 10. Coming up in the next game, I guess this is where things are going to get pretty interesting. Their next game is at number 18 Texas, and they're a touchdown underdog.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Didn't Texas just get waxed over the weekend? Or no, did they... What did they do this week?
No, they won.
Who did they play this week?
Now up to 18, the old 6-3 Texas.
No, they beat K-State. Okay.
They beat K-State, yeah. And then but previous week they lost to Oklahoma State, so.
Do you think?
And then beat Iowa State.
Do you think Texas's defense can keep up with TCU?
Man,
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's gonna be a hell of a test. Like would you consider that like a pick'em? Like it could be either or.
Man, I probably will throw down on this game. But
There you have it, folks.
Breaking news.
I think if I bet it, I'm just gonna have to bet Texas on the money line. I think 7 points, which is the suggested spread. I think that's maybe a bit lofty if you're a Texas follower or a Texas fan or a Texas money bettor.
If Texas can get the run game going and steal time off of the clock, that is their ticket to victory.
Well, problem is Bijan Robinson's so good he can break open an 80-yard run for a
Exactly.
touchdown.
And that boy, he can run between the tackles.
Oh, that boy.
That boy, I'll tell you, that boy can run the football, boy. I'll tell you.
Yeah, then we got some McDonald's and I just ate it on the curb, my boy.
Yeah, I got some Mickey D's on the way, Mr. Rock in my cup. I'm doing good. Fuck.
Fucking
But that's
Doug.
gonna be a fun game to watch this weekend. I think I might tune into that one so I don't have to watch OU lose again.
Hey boys, it's on at 6.
There's really not a lot of good college football coming up this week. So yeah, if you're wanting to dial into one, that might be a good one.
Hopefully I'll
I
be
agree.
moved in by that time.
Do what?
Hopefully I'll
Yeah, I
be moved in by that time.
Oh yeah.
That is true. I'm helping you move that day, so you better get some shit packed up so we can make that a swift change.
Hey, I've already started, man. My fucking living room is good to go.
Good. I can't wait for that. Andy, you're gonna come help with that? And why is the answer no?
Well, I think we all know why the answer is no.
Nutrients.
Electrolytes. That's what plants crave.
As my old man would say, I would be a good supervisor for that project.
Yeah, it could be laying down on the job and still being able to do that.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Yeah, I would.
Would you like to clean my floors?
I would really not.
How would you like to
fun.
mow my lawn?
Okay, so
Plant my tulips.
anything more college football wise? Because I've got a present that's coming out of the bag here that we're gonna give to good old TJ.
Oh shit! Hold on.
I think we're good on college football.
Like this is an actual thing.
This is an actual thing.
Like I'm getting a Christmas present. Like
yeah, because I, like your mom, cannot hide Christmas presents till Christmas.
Shit. All right, it's fucking November 9th, and thank you, I guess. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Here we go now.
What is it?
Well, we don't know.
It's an Amazon box.
Here we go. Askcasters, this is a early Christmas present. I have my mother's issue where I cannot. Not only do I buy Christmas presents too early, but apparently I give them away too early. So TJ is there. You go. You got little jingle bells in the background. Da da da.
Yeah!
The present is out of the box.
The last folk hero, the life and myth of Bo Jackson, by New York Times best-selling author Jeff Pearlman. I fucking have been eyeing this book for so long. Did you know? Oh my goodness.
Didn't know.
I'm gonna have wow.
Was that the one that was mentioned on Rome the other day?
It was. Rome interviewed Jeff Pearlman. Jeff Pearlman was actually on one of our local radio shows, The Drive. Jeff Pearlman's been making the rounds lately on his book tour, and Jeff Pearlman's a phenomenal author. But yeah, I thought that would be a little bit relevant for a podcast due to the subject matter of the last folk hero, Bo Jackson. And I'm sure Jeff Pearlman does an amazing job on this. I think I heard that he did over 1,600 interviews for this book.
1,600?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Yeah,
I remember.
The number was just insane.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
The first two chapters, chapter 1's titled, quote, The Little Rock Chucker. Chapter 2 is A Black Bruce Jenner. So I'm ready to listen to that, or not listen. Read it. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ian.
That's a great gift. That's a good one. You're gonna have to tell me about that because I don't read well.
Yeah, it's
Also available on all Audible systems and all audiobook platforms.
When does the movie come out?
Hulu already made it.
Exactly.
It's called YouTube highlights.
So one of the stories that's in that book, I mean, there's multiple just like insane stories, and I think Jeff Pearlman's title of The Last Folk Hero is actually accurate because some of these stories in there are like, it's like no fucking way, like impossible. So stories about like in the decathlon that Bo Jackson hated the last event so bad, which I think was some type of I think it was the long distance run. I guess I should know that, but
Yeah.
he hated that so bad that he got so far ahead that he didn't even have to compete in the last event of the decathlon, and he won it.
It's so incredible that someone is that talented or that athletic that they can almost just kind of do anything that they put their mind to, like with ease. It's I wish I remember Bo Jackson more. Was a little around longer when he was in his prime.
Well,
To be able to watch an athlete or a person like that just to do what seemed like the impossible at the time.
Well, I mean, if you were, Schawe, you and I kind of missed out by like 5 years on that. But having him and Dion playing two sports at relatively the same time and being prolific at both of them, Dion's the only one to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl. Am I correct on that? And then old Bo is the only one to be in an All-Star game for the NFL and MLB, or two of the four major sports.
Deion Sanders was so crazy that he would play an NFL game and an MLB playoff game in the same day.
Yeah, there's a 30 for 30 about that, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that with my brothers. It's really good.
So, anyway, happy early Merry Christmas there, TJ. I thought you would enjoy that one. Hopefully that doesn't collect dust and not get red, but
no, thank you. I have a little tear coming down my eye.
Yes. So hopping into the NFL, shall we?
I can't wait. Well, to piggyback on that, I can't wait for the TJ to knock on my adjoining wall in our apartment and say, "Come over, man! You got to read this chapter. Bo Jackson just killed a shark."
All right,
or
Lawrence.
Like that.
Your Discord picture is fucking Lawrence.
It is. Yeah, it's perfect.
Lawrence from Office
man,
Space.
The boobs are back on Channel 40. Woo!
Look at the tits on her.
Oh no, man! I'm not coming over. I don't want you fucking up my life either.
Lawrence, what would you do with $1 million?
I'll tell you what I do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
That's a pretty lofty goal.
The type of chicks who double up on dudes like me do.
You gotta have money for shit like that.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud. What a classic. By the way, have you seen that Walmart is using Lumberg in their holiday commercials last week?
Yes. It's so,
been pretty good.
So perfect. I'm like,
it is.
Mike Judge, like, I think he's like I think he's ascending into like my top 4, like my Mount Rushmore of just like creative motherfuckers.
And why is the other 2 out of the 4 Matt and Trey from South Park?
Matt and Trey, they take up 1 spot.
They also so they take up 1. Is that possible?
Yes. So like my Mount Rushmore has 4 persons but 5 heads.
It's like the dog in Harry Potter.
What kind of Greek mythology is that bullshit?
Dude, I watched Hercules the other night when I was really high. It was awesome. I crossed the river Styx.
Wait, which Hercules? The Disney one?
Fucking Disney one, man.
Hell yeah, that's a good one.
With that, I forgot the hero, but whatever. Yeah.
Hercules?
Yeah.
No, not the hero, the chick. Not hot chick. That was weird.
Meg? You talking about Meg?
Yeah, and she had weak ankles, I think.
Yes. And then Hades, the Flamer. As people are saying he's a gay character now, and I'm like, okay, he just was in hell.
Well, the devil was gay in South Park. I guess.
Hey, stop it, Chris.
Maybe.
Not in love with I'm not in love with Saddam anymore.
Hey, come on, Saddam. Come on, guy.
No, Saddam. I told you we can't be meeting up like this.
Come on, I just want to show you my maple stick. Hey.
Okay, just maybe real quick.
Yeah, give you a big wine, get a glass of wine, and I'm going to smack that big fat red ass of yours.
Oh, you know how I like it, Saddam.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway,
Back to football.
The Patriots.
So Jackson, right?
The Patriots got Frank Reich fired in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Frank Reich got Frank Reich fired.
No, he had been on the chopping block for a while, but I guess I didn't realize. Like, I had heard that Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, I had heard that he was just fucking wacky, and I guess I just hadn't paid much attention to that guy. But after his hire of Jeff Saturday and him kind of walking through that press conference of his...
Oh, that was a doozy.
Oh, my God. And then it got me to thinking back to Daniel Snyder and Daniel Snyder's comment that he's got basically dirt on all the other owners in the league. I'm like, if the other owners in the league are like Jim Irsay, I bet he does have dirt on every single one of these motherfuckers.
Well, Jim
Sorry,
Schawe.
Go ahead.
Well, Jim Irsay, I know he's had, and I hope he's doing better now, but I know he's had moments where he's made ridiculous statements when he's been drunk at night. That was reported back when Manning was still there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think he's since became sober and he's gone through a lot of rehab and stuff. So his stuff is public compared to other people, other owners, their dirt, quote unquote.
Oh.
So Jim Irsay is kind of I wouldn't say an untouchable guy, but it's kind of what can you say to hurt him? He's already hurt himself.
Shit.
But he was still a wacky guy. He's still kind of teetering on the edge of being off his rocker, but not. He's right there.
So,
and this move kind of proves that he's kind of maybe off his rocker a little bit.
So Jeff Saturday, who's never coached professionally or in college, he's going to lead a coaching staff that has no play calling experience, coming in to a game with a crumbling team, the Las Vegas Raiders, this week. This could be... oh my God, if the Raiders were to lose to this version of the Colts with Sam Ellinger at quarterback, Jeff Saturday at head coach, and I believe the play caller now for the Indianapolis Colts is some QB coach who's only 30 years old, who's also never called plays.
He's younger than us? Holy shit.
30 years old. So... this could be an this is serious. If the Colts beat the Raiders, I guess McDaniels could get fired.
You think do you give McDaniels a full year, maybe another, to see what happens after that? Because if that really does happen, it would be nuts. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Raiders will win.
He would get fired, and then approximately 1 second later, as Carlos alluded to last fucking podcast, he would be the offensive coordinator in New England again.
That would be hilarious. We have announced... Actually, watch. It would be announced before he got announced that he got fired.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, I heard it here first. But that is going to be a wacky game because a lot rides on the line for a lot of coaching staffs. So it's going to be interesting. And hiring a guy in Jeff Saturday who really his only coaching experience is in high school, and he was a TV analyst until this. Sorry, Schawe. I was going to say, what do you guys think of that? Is it because he is a known figure from the heyday of the Colts that's not Peyton Manning? Or kind of what? I don't know. So, it's just a very odd hire for that position.
He was already on the payroll as a consultant while he was working with ESPN. If I am Jeff Saturday though, why the fuck are you taking that job? There's nothing. That's not going to go well. There's nothing
I don't
that goes
think
well.
so either. I think it only hurts his legacy. It would only hurt his legacy if he fails with the Colts.
I don't. I mean, I don't. Not in my eyes.
You ready for this?
What's that?
Guess who Vegas has? Well, not all of Vegas sports books, but one of the Vegas sports books has Peyton Manning favored as the next full-time coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
I've heard that. I've heard that rumor.
Again, why in the fuck would you do it?
He doesn't need the. He doesn't need the money. It'd only be a challenge.
It'd
for
be
him.
a pay
it
cut.
Would just yeah, and it'd only be for him to prove that he is a football genius. He doesn't have to really prove it, other than he was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, at least in the last 25 years.
He's already involved in so much shit outside of football.
Yeah.
Like, why would you come back?
I don't know, and I wouldn't want him to leave the Manning cast because I do enjoy watching them on Monday nights when they do their Manning casts for those games.
Well,
so.
they could have Eli and Cooper be the Manning cast, and they could make fun of Peyton whenever the Colts are on.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of headset they had to get him. An extra large for his big ass forehead.
Be like, hey, did you guys know this is my brother?
Hey guys, do you want to do some scaring?
And then
Hey.
Cooper'd be like, okay, Bert.
Hey, Bert.
So anyway,
Would Cooper be Snuffleupagus? Hi, Eli.
Nah, he's got to be like Oscar the Grouch, man. Like,
Gets in the trash can.
yeah, like he's the Manning no one fucking thinks about, or like if they do, it's like, oh yeah, that's the other guy.
That's right.
Talking, I have to go grab a trash can.
Yeah.
It's true. Sometimes you need to do that. So, Josh Allen apparently has an injury to his elbow.
Mm-hmm.
The same type of area where Matt Stafford had his elbow issue, which required Tommy John surgery, and he hasn't looked anything close to the old Matt Stafford since that surgery.
Right.
So what type of concern do you have for Josh Allen based off of what we know up to this point?
Well, I mean, they're saying he's day to day. Now, what that means, no one really knows. I mean, coaches could be saying that to, toward the other team preparing for him. But it's a huge injury for that offense because he has such a strong arm, and he's a big guy. So when he's out running for yards, he's hard to take down. So he brings that aspect to his game as well. But I don't even know who their backup is in Buffalo. Who is it? I'd have to go look, but I think that's a very significant injury, and depending on when he could come back, I mean, they could very well be playing themselves out of one of the top spots in the AFC playoff picture. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think their backup, and I'm looking this up right now. I think their backup
I know who it is.
is Chase Daniels.
It's Case Keenum.
Ah,
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep, Case Keenum. You're right. Yep.
These are just those nuggets of knowledge that I wanted to know in case one day I was on a podcast and asked who the Buffalo Bills backup quarterback was.
and now we know.
And
Look at you shining.
I don't know.
Just glad you didn't say Jim Kelly or something like that.
He's their backup.
He looks a lot better, like, because he had his cancer. He had cancer. I don't think he still does.
He had
but
like
looks
3 or 4
much
times,
better,
right?
yeah.
He's had a lot of bouts with it. He's just,
Yeah, good for him.
thankfully, unlike their Super Bowl teams, he's won those battles.
Oh. Well, I mean, I guess it's better that he won those battles instead of. I mean, it worked out for
Right.
everyone.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you being a Cowboys fan too.
Yeah.
Schawe, you got to
But Andy, what do you think about what do you think their chances are with his injury? I think they avoided surgery from the last update I heard today, but he's still not necessarily out of the woods.
Yeah, So the line on this game has only moved 2 points. So Buffalo is favored against the Vikings coming up this week by 5, and it's pulled back to 3. But I think if there was really true confirmation that Josh Allen wasn't playing this week, I think that line would have moved more.
I would probably agree with you, but I mean, with them saying he's day to day, we don't know the seriousness of his injury per se right now. So
Yep.
it could be a thing where he misses 1 week, could be a thing he misses a month. We don't know.
I have him on my fantasy football team in our Quick Trip League, and I've been monitoring the situation very closely.
Very closely.
Very closely.
Very.
I've been in
Who's your backup?
Tua. So it ain't no thing.
That's not a bad backup.
It ain't, because no one fucking... I know how good I am. It ain't no thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Says he's good to go. I don't know. I think he's going to be good to go.
Okay.
We'll see. He's a we'll see from Sean McDermott.
Yeah, that's not very telling, but maybe it's more telling than we realize, so we'll see. So, anyway, other than that, I mean, with their defense, they could still only score 17 points and only give up 3 to 7 and be fine the next few weeks.
Yeah. Schawe, what do you think, moving on to your team, Kansas City, and also speaking of relevant AFC players and AFC teams, what would you think of the takeaways from Kansas City and Tennessee?
Well, I will say the Chiefs' defense, despite the first couple of series against basically Derrick Henry, they actually played pretty damn well against a very tough Tennessee offense. Once Henry started running downhill, it's tough to stop him. And like I said, besides those 2 big, I guess, 3 drives, the last 10 drives, the defense only gave up 10 yards total.
God.
And that's pretty astounding. And don't get me wrong, they didn't throw the ball very well because I don't know if they trust Willis that much compared to Tannehill to throw the ball. But, man, they definitely did not test, the secondary of the Chiefs defense, which has at times been suspect when even if you just throw up a ball for a one-on-one to try to see if you can't move the chains with getting a pass interference call. They didn't even try that.
Yeah.
They just kept trying to run downhill. And the Chiefs, were able to make a lot of stops, and you would think with doing that, the Chiefs would have put up 40 plus the amount of times the Chiefs offense had the ball. But just one of those nights where things were not clicking. It just wasn't moving as smooth. The offense wasn't moving as smoothly as they usually are. And give Tennessee's defense credit as well. They played really well against Pat Mahomes. They put a lot of pressure on him with only rushing 4 and 5 guys at a time, where they weren't bringing a lot of blitz packages. And the offensive line for the Chiefs just didn't play up to the standard they should be held to. But Patrick Mahomes, like always, puts the team on his back and ties the game, and then was able to drive him down the field in overtime, get that field goal, and then the defense got a huge stop in overtime. I thought the defense was the star of that game, honestly. Not from the very get-go. I thought it was going to be the other way, but I thought the defense for the Chiefs played amazing for that game. And the offense wasn't doing well.
Let's not forget, Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. The number 1 seed. Yes, they did lose A.J. Brown. They were playing without Tannehill. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, it's formidable Tennessee team.
Mike Vrabel has got that team playing well. Like they play hard in defense. They're going to be in your face. They play to the edge of the whistle. And that offense, when it's clicking, it can put up 30, 40 points when they want to. And obviously, Derrick Henry is just a man amongst boys out there. It's very hard to stop a guy like that when he gets into the linebacking and then the secondary. No one's really going to stop him. You have to stop him pretty much at the line of scrimmage or before he gets going. So,
hey,
Chiefs did a good job at that.
Schawe,
I thought that was Andy talking good about the Chiefs. It was Schawe.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. But I thought I had to come down here because I thought I heard Andy talking good about the Chiefs. But it wasn't Andy, it was you. Go.
Yeah, it was me.
Go Chiefs.
Sharon, tell us what you think.
Chiefs.
Did you send him a picture of my hockey skull?
Not yet.
Okay.
Sharon, tell us about the Chiefs.
They're awesome. I thought they lost the other day, but I went to sleep, and when I woke up, somebody said they won. Okay, that's good for me. And then, what's the medical report on Josh Allen?
Very good question.
Wow. Sean McDermott, the head coach, said, quote, "We'll see," unquote, today. Yeah.
Don't sound good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, say.
I see they threw the concussion guy back on the field.
The concussion guy.
Tua.
Concussion guy.
Yeah,
Tua.
hula, whatever.
Tua hula. Sharon, have you had any chocolates today?
2.
Oh, shit.
I bought me a
That's why she got down the stairs so quick.
They're up here.
Good to talk to you, Sharon.
Oh, I'm going to show Andy this hot, okay, you know, like these foreign leaders, the young ones, how good looking and wives they have? You know, like
Yes.
Kate Middleton and what's the one from Jordan? Rihanna, whatever her name is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now Denmark has a hot one.
Let's take a look. Let's look at Denmark
I have
hot.
to go find her. So
Oh, the Prime Minister of Finland?
she's hot. Her name's Mary from Australia.
Dude, the Prime Minister of Finland she's hot.
Is she?
She's like my age.
So while she's
Yeah.
doing that, what do you got? You guys got more to talk about, or final thoughts?
No, I mean, what did you guys think of the Chiefs game? I think that's what we were talking about before. So I think it was a good game by the Chiefs defense. The offense, just one of those games just happened. They were not clicking on all cylinders, but you know, a win's a win. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
What did you think there, TJ?
I didn't really watch the second half. I fell asleep. It was a good sleep. I was a tired lad.
He was past his bedtime.
It's hell to turn 33, man.
Were you? Yeah, it's just tough. Were you just lullabied to sleep by some Kenny G?
Oh,
TJ, it's time for you to take your 3 chatter.
Oh,
Check in for the night.
It's already in. Oh.
Okay, enough grunting. That was a little much.
Sorry, it was more of a glottal.
Sharon
God.
with the ultimate tease right now. She's
What's that?
She's brought down her tablet with the purpose of allowing me to see this hot, soon to be Queen of Denmark, and apparently we haven't got to the right part of the video.
Meghan Markle.
You can tell that Denmark is not a rich country. I mean, I read this.
Oh
I
my
read
goodness.
Which country?
They have one of the highest GPD per capita.
Well, there's some of them that they rated them about which dynasties were worth more.
What in the hell is on
Finland, I think, was really bad down there. But who
What
gets
is she playing?
health insurance?
What
for
is playing on
everybody?
your iPad?
Oh, the wedding.
Sharon, every developed country gives health insurance. We're the only ones that don't.
I know.
Well, that answers your question.
Do they pay taxes?
Yes, their tax rate is the same as ours.
Does anybody know who won the $1 billion yesterday?
Yeah, former NFL player.
Yeah, only 19 miles away from LA. Some millionaire actor or actress probably won.
Or NFL player.
One's...
That's what. God.
Are you watching the royal wedding?
Well,
Not Denmark.
Oh.
so I
Or
didn't.
as they call it in Denmark, Tuesday lunch.
Okay, so to be king of Denmark, when he goes to a restaurant and the waitress comes up and says, "Are you finished?" He said, "No, I'm Danish."
Oh God.
Get out of here, Dad. Boo.
Boo.
That's a bad joke about Norwegians.
They thought it was funny in Denmark.
They're Schwabe.
So we've completely lost track of this one. So you guys want to hop into final thoughts?
Well, we can, or we can talk about maybe some hockey that happened this last week. Since we got I mean, I know we talked about Evander Kane right off the hop, but I mean, New Jersey and Vegas are rolling right now, boy.
No,
They're doing
Vegas
good.
is
New
Vegas
Jersey's
is rolling.
playing well.
No,
I don't care.
New
You gotta
Jersey's
just celebrate it.
Dude,
It's okay.
Jersey sucks so much. They suck. They're the fucking worst. They're the scum underneath my toes. They're awful.
Well, I mean, that's fine that they're scum underneath your toes, but they're playing good hockey right now.
No,
I mean,
they suck.
yes, they are.
So
They
much.
are. I'm not trying to get your hopes up. It's okay. It's a glimpse into the future. Just accept it.
No.
Well,
How are the Avalanche doing?
they just played their global series over in Finland against the Columbus Blue Jackets and beat the shit out of them in both games.
Oh.
So Rantanen had a hat trick his first game. Georgiev played both games and played very well. Like he's becoming the legit number one starter for that team, and kind of what the New York Rangers were hoping he could have been with them until Shesterkin came in and took that job from him. So honestly, besides a few injuries they have, Nichushkin is going to get surgery on his ankle. Byram's out with an injury, and so is I think Gerard. But rather have those injuries happen now than later on in the year and get those out of the way. And obviously, they still haven't even had Landeskog play a minute yet, so he's still like a month or two out.
Well,
so the Avs are playing well right now, and I mean, they didn't start as well as like Vegas or anything like that or anybody else, but they're finding their rhythm, and that's kind of how they were last year to start the season.
Our Vegas Knight fan just went upstairs because he was getting too tired.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's why you don't take your sleeping pill right now.
Oh, so his eyes looked all shitty.
Shitty eyes, they're watching you.
No, I told Joel this today. New Jersey does look good, but ever since I started talking shit about them on the podcast, that's when that's when they started racking up all these wins. So
you're superstitious right now.
Yes. So New Jersey, you're the biggest pieces of shit ever. Like I hate you.
Can you tell me how bad Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier are playing them?
Well, Jack Hughes actually has not even done, like, he's been getting his assist and shit, but he hasn't really gone off at all. Nico Hischier looks like a different player. And I don't say that he looks like he sucked last year. He was injured a little bit last year and still kind of working on his offensive game. He is dialed in. He's playing like one of the best centers in the NHL right now.
So like he was expected to be when he was drafted as high as he was.
If he's playing like this come March, he will be in consideration for the Selke.
Nice.
He is playing tremendous hockey. Last night they were playing Calgary, and Lindholm was not playing directly against him. But I mean, I think you had two of the best defensive two-way 200 feet centers playing in the league last night. So that was, for me, that was fun to watch.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's good to see, a team that's kind of, they've got a lot of, I guess, comparisons to like their young core to Colorado's core when they were starting to, turn the corner from their, I guess, abysmal 48 point season, whatever that was back in 2016-17.
Yeah.
So they're getting a lot of praise for their cores finally starting to play up to their potential. I guess I don't know if their goaltending. I don't know if it's suspect, but it's still not. I think
Vanacek is playing he's playing.
Sure.
He's playing all-star quality minutes right now. He has
but can you maintain that over the rest of the season? That is yet to be decided. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a bad goalie. we don't know sample size wise. You know what I'm saying?
I believe Mackenzie Blackwood's day-to-day right now. So Vanacek's getting
They have the same doctor as Josh Allen.
Yes, they're all getting Tommy John surgery.
The LA Chargers doctor.
Yes, puncture wounds to the lungs.
Yeah, you don't.
I think New Jersey is a fun team to watch right now, and just to see where they could potentially go. And I think they're playing a lot better than the New York Rangers. I mean, the Rangers were expected to be one of these elite teams, and they've just kind of been so right off the hop. So
who has been hot for them is Capo Caco. He is growing into a really good player. he was in the same draft with Jack Hughes. I kind of wanted him over Jack Hughes.
Right? He went 2.
Yeah, he went 2. Jack went 1. I'm glad New Jersey has Jack, obviously, but it's good to see him kind of come into his own and use that skill set that he had coming into the league.
Right. Right now he's at Capco is at 6 points in 14 games, so not doing too bad for the Rangers. But I mean, compared to the Devils are they're 10-3 right now. It's just great. Jesper Bratt,
boy's gonna get paid.
I know, 18 points, 13 games. Nico Hischier has 14 points in 12 games. Jack Hughes 12 points in 13 games. Dougie Hamilton 10 points, 13 games. Their big players are playing big for them and doing all the things. So they're playing really good right now. And it's fun to see a team like New Jersey, break through and, play well, especially after, a bunch of years where they've had a lot of hardship and transitions where they just didn't know where the organization was going to go. So it's been fun to watch them. But I'm trying to see other teams in this conference or in the Eastern Conference. Ottawa, I thought was going to be a lot better, and they're at the bottom of the Atlantic. They're unlike the Titanic. They're 4-8. I thought they're going to be 8-4 at this point of the season. What about you?
I thought I am disappointed with them. They're a disappointment. I don't know if I'm disappointed in them. I'm not their parents.
He raised them better.
What team are we talking about?
Ottawa.
Oh yeah, this has been a 3-chime moment. I thought with DeBrincat coming and with Tkachuk coming into his own, I thought they were going to be much better. But they are fucking proving me wrong. So, sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah, like Tkachuk is, point per game with Batherson, Giroux, Tim Stützle, and then DeBrincat. They're all close to being point per game players, but then after that just drops off. One of their bigger guys, like Thomas Chabot, has really just been kind of so. He has not been playing well. So Josh Norris, who got a big contract, is not playing great. Guys like that just haven't stepped up when they were expected to, and I thought the Senators were going to be a lot better team coming off the shoot. But a lot of season left. You never know what could happen.
Well, they're giving up a lot of goals. They've given up 44 in the season already. So,
yeah.
And they're not scoring a lot either. So that's just
right.
Fucking...
Yeah. It's just tough, as I would say. But at the top of that Atlantic Division is Boston at 11-2. Like holy. Who
has an unbelievable point differential.
Plus 23.
Yeah, that is insane. So they're getting scoring where they need it. They're getting goaltending. I mean, I don't even think Charlie McAvoy has even played a minute yet. And once he gets in the lineup, that's even more scary.
Yeah, I think his knee?
I think it was his knee, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they're a really damn good team. Let's see, Linus Ullmark, which I did not think was going to be number one goalie back in this league, is 9-1, and he has a .932 save percentage and a .205 goals against average. So he's playing well.
He has a security blanket.
That's right. But the one thing the Bruins are doing off the ice are taking L's compared to their on ice.
Ooh, what are they doing?
Well, last week they signed a kid out of the USHL by the name of Mitchell Miller. Well, who's Mitchell Miller, you ask?
I am asking.
He was a 2020 draft pick by the Arizona Coyotes. But after some news came out during that time, the Coyotes, I guess, undrafted him in a way. They rescinded their draft pick and say, we don't want to deal with this kid. Now, what is that, you guys ask? Mitchell was part of a group of kids that bullied a fellow student at their school, called him a bunch of racial slurs, did a bunch of disgusting and nasty things to him over the years, and just tormented the poor kid. And when any team asked about it, he would not want to comment on it, and was very, I guess, defensive about if he feels regret, if he said sorry, which came out. He never apologized to the kid, and only really apologized to him and his family because it weighed on him either getting signed or drafted, and but he's never still said a word to the family or the kid that he picked on. What? And that was known back in 2020. Fast forward to last week, the Bruins signed him. And of course, to everyone's shock, everyone's like, why the hell did you sign this kid? He has still not ever apologized to the family or has any regrets, saying that, he regrets what he did. He shouldn't have done it, blah, 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 what he should have done. He did come out with an apology on Instagram, but the kid's mother, the kid he picked on, has acknowledged that Mitchell has never reached out to the family and said that he was sorry. And fans were up in arms over this signing. Like, why the hell would you sign a kid like that? Why would you want to bring that kind of bad press to the organization and that kind of, bad juju to a locker room? And the Bruins management were saying, oh, well, we're still kind of looking into it, blah, 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 all this bullshit. And, of course, a few days later, they finally released him. They say they were just going to part ways.
Well,
it's fine.
Didn't Bettman...
We did more quote-unquote research and found more evidence. But what more evidence were there? There was already the evidence that you had in your pocket that you just chose to ignore.
Well, didn't Bettman release a statement that said, no, you're absolutely not going to have this kid on an NHL roster. He is not NHL quality human being. He is not going to be on a NHL roster.
Yeah, long story short, he said he's not eligible to play in the NHL, and he signed an AHL deal with the Bruins. But still, why? Why would you feel the need to bring a kid like that in?
How much slack does the front office in Boston get?
Well, their owner, Mr. Jacobs, I don't forget his name, apparently is not the greatest human being ever. So it's kind of on par with some of the shit they do on off the ice.
God damn, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Bruce Cassidy, he doesn't, it looked like players didn't like him, but also, I don't know, that whole, he was a very good coach. They did perform, and they've got an aging base. I don't know.
And Jim Montgomery now is having them playing great.
Oh,
and kudos for Jim Montgomery for going through, his tough times after he got fired in Dallas and going through his demons and getting all that sorted out. So it's kind of someone who has come from the bottom back up to the top to recognize that. And a lot of the Boston Bruins players were outspoken about it, saying, we don't want this kid around. We don't want him around our culture. This is not what we're about. This is not okay. And a lot of fans spoke out against it. A lot of Bruins fans were saying, we are not putting another dime into this organization until you release this player. We do not support this kind of behavior and this kind of person. So I with all the backlash, and I don't know if necessarily sponsors got into it, don't know that whole details, but they finally made the right decision and released him. But for them to come out and say, oh, we found new evidence that supported the decision to release him, bullshit. That was enough already not to sign them in the first place. So there was a lot of unneeded drama with the Boston Bruins, but they eventually made the right choice. But will it cost Neely and Sweeney their jobs? We'll see.
I would have thought by now their jobs would have been gone, but I don't know.
I'd agree.
I don't know.
But no, I'm glad that the players spoke out, and they, how guys are kind of like in hockey, they're kind of like about team and stuff like that, which they were in this case, but they don't really speak up against stuff like this very often. It's good to see a team united against, hate and bullying like that, stand up and say, no, we don't want this a part of our culture. No, tell them to move along.
Especially in the NHL when the culture is not looked upon, and let's be honest, it's a predominantly white sport for for predominantly rich kids. It's an expensive sport. So yeah, it's good to see that they're kind of focusing on inclusion and
Right.
kind of shining a bright spot on the culture of hockey
Right.
as opposed to a negative one.
Right, and I mean, and Mitchell Miller is a good hockey player, which doesn't excuse his off ice issues, but it's not like he's a generational player. So to make that move was just very strange, and I don't understand it. So I'm glad that they finally made the right decision, but it shouldn't have been done in the first place. So after reading a lot of comments online and just how people felt, I'm glad that the organization finally did the right thing. So
this is from the same organization who has its fans fight each other in the stands.
Now you get that at Tulsa Oiler games. What are you talking about? I don't know. That's not that weird.
They're disqualified. They're minor league.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, that is true. It was a weird week for that kind of a story to come out for the NHL. But other than that, no. What else do we have? Anything else to talk about, or do we want to wrap it up for the pod, boys?
Yeah. Let's get to our last words. Andrew, who looks like he might fall asleep, his pupils are immensely dilated. Have at it.
So I'm just excited for World Cup, which is right around the corner. It's the sports. The time to be a sports fan right now is so good. Football, obviously, hockey and basketball just started, and then the fact that World Cup, we get a whole month of it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Go Brazil!
Viva la Brazil!
With their 5,000 forwards on the roster.
Yes.
Schawe, what you got, bud?
Well, like we talked about earlier, I am a Colorado Avalanche fan. Have been since I remember watching them back when I was 5-6 years old, and they moved to Denver, which caught my eye. And a staple for them that's been in the broadcast team with the Avs since '95. Peter McNabb passed away a couple days ago, and he's one of those first guys I remember hearing on those broadcasts and helped me grow a love for the game, and his stories are always great. He was always a positive and nice guy. It's just really tough to see one of those people that you admired and looked up to and helped you grow a love for an organization pass away, and it's unfortunate. And he battled cancer last year. He beat it and was in remission, and he was starting to get better, and just I don't know how he was doing the last few weeks, but it seemed like he was doing better. But it's unfortunately he passed away, and it was a very sad couple of days, kind of unexpected, and he will be very, very missed within not just the broadcast, but just as a person, and a very positive man that's on and off the ice and on the broadcast. So R.I.P. to Peter McNabb.
I'll kind of piggyback off that, Schawe. Peter McNabb also played for the New Jersey Devils in the late 80s, and I think he played into the 90s, but I might be wrong.
I think it was just early 80s, but yeah, pretty close to the 90s at least.
They had a memorial for him last night before the game versus Calgary, which was really nice to see. And like kind of to your point, Schawe, when you have an announcer with a franchise like that, they kind of become the mouthpiece of the franchise. So that sucks, buddy, to see that kind of thing to go. My parting thoughts are, I just want to thank my fellow Askcasters, Andy, C. Dangle, and Schawe. We made it to 21 episodes. We've done this consistently for 21 weeks, so I just want to thank you guys for it's been fun.
Yeah. Here's to 21 more and 42.
That's right.
Yeah.
It has been fun.
But yeah, no, it's been fun. Our podcast can finally drink legally.
Alrighty, Askcasters, get down with this, our 21st birthday, with your beverage of choice. or your smoke of choice, brought to you by 3chai.com.
Right.
You can find us on the Twitters, guys, at AskCasters. We want to thank the listeners in San Jose, Lone Jack, Kansas City, Leawood, Ashburn, somewhere in Virginia again, the Barbados.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much. We're out of here.